Alright, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to play Super Mario Maker 2, and we're going to play a little bit of the story mode. So one thing I really like about this game is that it has an actual story mode. So essentially it's like a regular Mario game, but you know, you get to have the fun making stuff and doing all sorts of different type of things you may enjoy. So of course Mario's a builder in this. Well, it wasn't easy, but we couldn't have done it without you. So it looks like they just finished building the castle. Oh, there's a button, huh? Ooh. I do apologize that there may be some issues with the sound or a little bit of a lag. The channel is new and we're still working out some kinks with some of the editing and all sorts of that type of stuff. The videos in the future should definitely be an improvement. If you are new to the channel, this channel is mainly for me and my son to make videos and play games together. Primarily, right now we're playing Super Mario Maker 2. That doesn't mean in the future we won't play any other games. But it looks like the pesky dog just blew away the castle that Mario just spent so much time trying to build. Alright, so it looks like we have the pink toadette lady, and she's gonna help us build the castle. And then we have Taskmaster, who is in the form of Toad, who looks like he has some jobs for us. It looks like this is how the missions are going to be in story mode. So let's take a look here. There's no time to waste, he says. So we're going to try the first level, a downhill battle. So I take it the story mode, at least at the beginning, is going to be pretty basic, kind of showing you the new types of things in Mario Maker 2 compared to the first one, or even just in general. Things you can do. So this one's obviously the downhill battle, so it's focusing on ramps. I see that it starts you with 5 lives, which is common for Mario Maker, or just Mario, not necessarily Mario Maker. I think people probably got pretty used to in the first Mario Maker having the 100 Mario challenge, which in this one they got rid of, which is a little bit of a bummer. I really would have liked to play those. I think it gives you a good amount of time to really get used to levels, especially ones that are extremely tricky when you are limited to lives. It becomes a lot harder, and you probably don't progress as far as you may otherwise. Something new in Mario Maker 2 is that they added the giant coins. So I got that 10 one, and there we completed the first level. Quite basic and easy. I'm hoping that later on in story mode they have a little bit more challenging of levels. The fun is definitely the most important. So I got 130 coins. It tells me to go give the coins I picked up to the chief, which is the pink toadette lady. Which is going to make us be able to build onto the castle. And let's see how this works. My controller is having a little bit of issues here, so I'm going to have to switch it. Kind of died on me. I apologize. Alright. I'm talking to the Toad guy to see if there's any new jobs before I start building more. Seems to have been a little issue with a little bit of lag here. Once again, I do apologize for any lag or volume or any of those sorts of issues. We are aware and working to improve. We essentially are beginners at this. So we started building the main castle area. Our little workers are hard at work there, looks like you have to do missions to get them to complete the tasks as is as well. So we're going to do another level called on-off switch. So this level looks like it's going to feature the on-off switches, which appears to be one of the most popular new additions to Mario Maker 2, as they seem to be in almost every level. For sure, the speedrun levels seem to be just filled with these on and off switches. They're a wonderful addition because they allow you to do so many new things. You can set up traps for enemies, and just interesting platforming. They really kind of just change all sorts of the levels. I also imagine for those who get really creative with like building machines in their levels, the on and off switches probably help tremendously in making that process easier. So again, it's just kind of a rudimentary level, as it shows you how to do the on-off switches. Looks like I'm going to have to go down in this pipe now and play with the on-off switches. So one thing I do kind of really enjoy about the on-off switches is similar to like what it's showing right now, is you're able to kind of make almost mini games where Mario doesn't really move around, you're not really jumping or anything, but you're controlling a different area. So I think that's kind of neat. I kind of mess up with these bouncy springs, so I'm going to have to go back in the pipe to get the star again. Which isn't that bad, because you get to play the little mini game again. So essentially you got to the star bounces around, you got to hit the on-off platform to get it here. The biggest downside to the on and off platforms is that if there is an object in between them, they get destroyed. I don't think there's really any exceptions to that. It seems like pretty much anything in the game will die to the on-off switches, and that includes Mario if you ever unfortunately get stuck in them. I'm not paying any attention here, and I let the Koopa just land on my head. But this is another thing with the on and off switches, is you can have an enemy essentially go back and forth, which can cause like a timer, like with those platforms. You can easily narrow or lengthen that based on how much time you want to give the player to be able to do the platforms. Some people set it up where it's extremely fast and, of course, increases the difficulty of a level. So since I completed a level after starting my foundation, it gets 1 hammer, and it appears I need 2. So we're just going to move along with these levels and go to 3, which is Hello 3D World, which appears to be everybody's new favorite world to build, which is no surprise. There's a lot of fun things you can do with it. I really enjoy the levels. The one thing that is kind of jarring about going from the 3D world to, say, Super Mario World is that there's the physics work much different. So in 3D world, for instance, when you jump, you have like a little twirl, which is sort of similar to the spin jump, but it doesn't work anything like the spin jump. It more just gives you more time in the air rather than allow you to jump on enemies or spin. So it can be kind of tricky if you're playing a lot of one style and moving on to another one, to kind of readjust each time. So the cat suit is something unique to 3D World, which you can see here. Allows you to climb up things as well as kind of destroy bricks, like you saw a moment ago. It's also it feels really nice to play with the cat suit. You can kind of dive and charge and all sorts of things with the cat suit. Though unfortunately, I just lost it there. Almost. And I'm going to get it back here. The majority of 3D worlds tend to use the cat suit. People really enjoy the different things you can do with it, and it is fun. I'll just ground pound through that. Piranha plant. The piranha plants in 3D World are quite interesting as well, because if you jump on top of their heads instead of their mouths, instead of like the regular worlds, the other like Super Mario World or SMB, you would die, where on this you actually kind of hurt it, and if you jump on the big ones twice, they eventually die. So the cat suit does have its limitations. It can't climb forever. It can climb walls, but like you saw there, I died because I didn't quite realize that the limits to the climbing at the time that I was playing this, and I died. Climbing trees is also kind of cool. I would almost suggest always checking out the trees, because just like you saw there, it hides power-ups. Sometimes it'll hide coins as well. As far as I know, they don't hide enemies, which is good, because that would open up a whole new world of trolls that people would. And again, I'm just being really dumb here with the cat suit. I'm trying to climb the wall again, and I just kind of jump in the hole. Don't know why. And I don't really know why I want the coins so much. Though in story mode, all the coins you do collect do add to the coins you have outside when you're building. And then, yeah, I try it again, and I fall, and I save myself. So it does add, so each mission you are rewarded a certain amount of coins for doing the mission, but the coins you do collect also go towards your total for building stuff. I'm not sure if it'll get to the end of story mode and you'll need to farm coins, or if you'll have too many more missions because you've already built everything and you just have the missions to go through, the tasks. But you see I complete the level. It's actually not that difficult. A little embarrassing, the number of times I died. Definitely should not have happened. So that is some interesting things. So I kind of hope that it's balanced enough that as long as you don't go and farm a bunch of coins, you'll make it essentially through the levels while also steadily building the castle. So now I'm kind of just talking to the other people. Nobody else really does anything, but I did finish the foundation. Now you can see I have a pretty foundation that I can now I check on the chief, and I have 3 more options to build stuff. But unfortunately I don't have the coins for that, so I'm gonna have to go do another mission with the taskmaster to gain more coins. So I'm mostly just gonna play through the levels one by one. So we're gonna move on to level 4, which is known as Under the Angry Sun. So the Angry Sun is something also added to Mario Maker 2, which is similar to SMB 3's Angry Sun, though with some upgraded visuals, as well as you are able to turn it into a moon, which instead of killing you if you touch it, it actually kills all the enemies. I have been surprised that I haven't found very many sun levels through my play. I figured that based on how annoying the sun was in SMB 3, for those who don't know, it's Super Mario Bros. 3. I figured that people would add it into the levels a lot more, but that has not seemed to be the case. There's a few levels out there that has it. I think the reason why is that in this he doesn't seem to be as terrorizing. I'm kind of cautious throughout the level, and I take some dumb hits because I'm just kind of messing around. And I also don't really like auto-scroll levels. They're just not my favorite. I like being in control of how fast and where I'm moving and how I'm jumping and all those things. But it really doesn't feel like the sun is as terrorizing as it was in Super Mario Bros. 3. Though it has been a long time since I played Super Mario Bros. 3, and so maybe that's just a younger me feeling that things are much harder than they really are. But I could see that being why people haven't been adding it to their levels much. I finished the level, get 150 coins. Again, these first early levels are pretty simple levels. mostly just to kind of introduce the new tech to the game and kind of get you accustomed to what you will expect. I really am hoping for the later levels to be more challenging. We will see how that goes. Something about these playthroughs through story. Well, now we're gonna move into level 5, the mystery of the haunted manor. Another level another type of level that I'm not too fond of is the ghost houses. I just overall have never been very much a fan of the ghosts, which you'll see here in a moment, where I make another few more mistakes with the ghosts, as I kind of just jump right into it for no reason. I didn't need to break those blocks. There's nothing in them. But with the fact that they don't move on their own, I'm very much a player that is better at kind of watching, say, enemies or kind of how the level's working and try to figure out a plan from there, where the ghosts move based on you. For some reason, that's kind of a blind spot for me. But as I was gonna say about the playthrough through story mode, kind of like I mentioned earlier, this channel is mostly for me and my son together to play, and it's just the POW off the screen, which is definitely not helpful. But I can just go back in and grab it again, and I just decided to spit it out here and use it, so I don't mess up again. But with the story mode, I do plan on having us play through the entire story mode, but each video may switch between me or my son, which will be labeled in the video description as either dad or boy, and so we'll kind of go from there with that. We are playing on 2 different accounts, but to avoid any repetitive levels, for instance, I will be kind of paying attention to what percentage he gets at and try to record kind of the areas in between, the levels that he doesn't play, I'll play, and vice versa. Though for the most part, I just let him play whatever he wants, so I'll kind of adjust the levels that I record based off of that. So this is kind of a P-switch thing. I'm not really sure why, though it is kind of a staple in the old Super Mario World game to use P-switches. I'm not sure why P-switches are so heavily used in haunted houses. I guess maybe because the original game designers thought they were spooky or something, because they all of a sudden turned coins into blocks. Who knows? I kind of waste a lot of time here exploring the level. Really, all I get is that 30 coin, which, like I said earlier, based on how much like coin farming you may need to do, that may have saved me a bunch of time. It may have not saved me any time at all, and just kind of had me roaming through the level. So we're at the end. They kind of made it look like the beginning, which is kind of neat. But that is another level down. And Mario's peacing out. So let's see what is in store for us next. So I get 150 coins for the payment, then an extra 90 coins. So 200 and some coins. And the West Hall gets built a little bit and moves up to 4%. So I felt like the percentage was going to go really slow at the beginning, but it does seem to pick up later on. But we're going to do level 6 underground coin collection. Sounds like I'll get a lot of coins. This one actually has a goal incentive, so in order to cross the finish line, I must grab all 30 coins. This level's kind of interesting for the fact that it kind of took me a minute to really figure out how it was working. It's simple, but at the same time, you kind of have to do it in a particular way. So for instance, there's these 4 doors, and each door has about 7 or 8 coins to get to the 30. But they have different enemies, and I find it interesting because it's all set up similar to the old Super Mario Bros. Kind of battle arena thing, if anybody is old enough to remember that happening, or remember that game or game style. I used to play it on Super Mario All-Stars, which is kind of my earliest introduction to Mario, which was nice because it had pretty much all of it. So this one kind of has a female, Boom Boom, which I find kind of tricky, because she makes clones of herself, and you gotta figure out which one. So she's not just like the regular Boom Boom where you have to hit it 3 times. So I do die a few times here, trying to figure out what's the best way, because you only get 1 star, and so you gotta figure out what's the best boss to use it on, or room to use it on, and which rooms you can kind of just sneak around and steal other coins. I kind of decided to use the star on the Ninja Girl, more because I just find her to be a bigger pain in the butt. I was hoping that there would be more than 30 coins in the level. However, there's not. There's exactly 30 coins, so you have to do all 4 levels. Overall, I do like this style of level creation where essentially there's multiple rooms and challenges, though I do like the ones that people create online a little bit more, where essentially you're building up for the pink coins and trying to find the key. I think they're fun, they're challenging, they kind of give you almost like a quest that you're on, which is kind of nice about the goal incentives in Super Mario Maker 2 is essentially you can kind of make them as a quest or that type of thing. So again, I die. Something to keep in mind when you die in story mode, you do lose coins. You don't lose all of them, but you do lose kind of a handful of them. Which doesn't really matter about the level, but it does about how many coins you have later on to build. Again, I take the star, come to beat the ninja chick. So kind of what I was mentioning about the red coins. So I really like those types of levels. And I guess I was talking about the goal incentives. I think they're fun in a lot of ways, though I do think that they can make or break a level. There's a lot of levels that are perfectly fine or even really fun, but then the goal incentive kind of ruins it, makes it really challenging, or I don't even necessarily ruins it because it makes it challenging, but it makes it almost, it can just ramp up the difficulty from being a basic easy level to all of a sudden now it's a super expert level, because to meet the goal incentive, it makes it extremely hard, whether or not it's coins that are an extremely hard place to reach, or for instance there's goal incentives such as hold a POW while you cross the finish line, and then people will make it extremely difficult to keep the POW up to that point. So something about this level is it also has the clear pipes, which are pipes that enemies can go through, as well as you can see yourself going through. However, something you're kind of seeing that I did here, completely by accident, and made this part a little bit more gut-wrenching, is that you can throw Koopa shells as well as like firepower through them, which can be really neat. But there, it kind of made it a bit unpredictable as to where the shell was going to be, so I had to kind of skip around a little bit. I believe I am in the final room now, collecting the rest of the coins. This is probably the most difficult level so far. Not that it is actually difficult or anything, but it makes you have to think a little bit more than the previous levels of kind of just start, go, hit the flag, which is also kind of a nice thing about the goal incentives, is that, or the goal goals set through the level to be able to complete it is that they do kind of make you have to think a little bit. By the time I get to the flagpole, do I have all the coins? If I have to pick up 50 coins, if I miss some coins, is that going to be the end of the run? Or is there extra coins that I can pick up? So it kind of goes with that extra challenge. So here I'm building the main hall, first floor. It's going to take all 600 of the coins I basically just farmed through, and it brings me up, and I get up to 6% castle completion. I do like that story mode does seem to be a decent in length. We're going to move on to level 7. But since it's decent in length, it gives you a good amount of play. Swinging Claw Ropes Course. And with that, it just means more fun Mario. So this one has the claws, which I like and dislike at the same time. I think they add a pretty unique addition to the levels and more things you can do with the levels. It kind of feels like a sort of Mega Man-ish ripoff. As far as I know, there's no older Mario games that have the claws like that. But the weird thing about the claws is the momentum can be very weird. Again, sorry about the lag here. If you're even seeing that, if not, then just completely ignore what I'm saying. But the momentum for them can be weird. If the screen isn't scrolling, it's perfectly fine. You can just swing yourself back and forth. There's no problem. But many people put them in levels and essentially like auto scroll levels, and it makes it really difficult because you kind of have to catch it at the right moment, or else you won't get any of the momentum. But another pretty basic level. Otherwise, they can be really fun and add some very unique values to the levels. Excuse me. So the West Hall first floor has been completed, and that moves me up to 9%. And we're going to do one last level here, which is level 8. Also known as the Showstopper. So I don't think this level has much, really anything new as far as Mario Maker 2 goes, but it does introduce new Super Mario Maker 2 users to the boot, which is interesting, and I just lost the boot the second I got it because enemy popped up through the pipe. I do believe this is the last level for this video. If you've made it this far, I do enjoy that you watched. If you have any feedback, please leave it down below. But let's try to finish this level strong. So as you see, you have various boots. Gives you a checkpoint flag, which apparently I came close to needing, as I take some damage similarly. Something I really like about the boots is that you can do the ground pound and kind of damage the enemies, including the piranha, muncher, black plants. Of course, then I died to the lady boots, which is a little silly. The boots essentially add an extra hit as well. Kind of, I don't really care so much about going through to get every single coin, so I just skipped that, and I work on trying to grab the lady boot as it was about to disappear, but luckily I jumped in it. I was kind of worried there for a moment whether or not it would continue to disappear, given that it was already disappearing. Now I'm in a boot with wings, which is kind of awkward, because to flutter, similar to Yoshi, you kind of you have to hold the jump button when you do it, which to me it just kind of really feels awkward. Doesn't really necessarily feel natural as far as being able to fly higher, but it does allow you to get you a lot more speed. So here we come to the end. Since I'm in the boot, I killed a plant I don't even bother to try to go to the top of the thing. You don't even get 1-ups in this mode, you just get extra coins. But that would wrap up that level, which is also going to wrap up this video. I appreciate you watching and enjoying. Get my 100 coins. Check out my main hall progress. Add 2 more levels, 11% total.